Good morning. How are you? Sorry for being a little late this morning. Just been gathering up all kinds of data this morning. There's a lot to follow. There's a lot going on here that we have to take advantage of. And we have Fed Funds Day today. We have developments in Russia, Ukraine, developments in the foreign exchange market, developments in the bond market, unemployment. There's just so much happening all at the same time that's going to affect this market today, tomorrow, next week, next month. And I'm trying to stay on top of it as best as I can. I was just thinking about something. We're going to talk interest rates. We're going to talk about all that. Don't worry about that. But on my little rant this morning, I want to talk about a couple of things. And I know that you guys enjoy it when I talk about historical stuff. I wasn't old enough, thankfully, back in the 70s, in like 1970 itself, 1970. I was going to turn 15 that year because I was born in 1955. Thank God I wasn't born in 1950 and I was in Michigan. I was born in 1955 and I lived in Ontario, Canada, which is on the other side, the north side of the Great Lakes, as opposed to the southern side of the Great Lakes. So being a Canadian kid versus being an American kid, and being born in 1955 and not in 1950, just as an example only, that meant in 1970, I was going to turn 15, not turn 20. And because I wasn't 18 or 19 or 20, at that time, even 1968, I would have been 18 in 1968. The Vietnam War was raging in the 60s. If you've ever seen Rick Burns's documentary on the Vietnam War, drop everything every night for the next 2 weeks and just watch the reruns of Rick Burns Vietnam. Watch all 8 parts, right from number 1, which starts from the 30s and the 40s or earlier, and then up to the war by this part 2 and part 3. You've got to really understand the whole history of the Vietnam War. By 1965, 66, 67, by that point in time, a pattern was developing. And that was that the American administration was sending more kids to military in the US and then overseas to Vietnam. And the reality was that if you were a youngster that was 18 and older, you were vulnerable to being drafted if you didn't have a ticket, a get out of jail free card in your hand. If you were a child of well-to-do parents, you would have likely been enrolled in some kind of college somewhere for something that would have given you a deferment at the very least of 4 years or more to do your secondary education. If you were if you were someone who got really good grades in school, you would easily get college, full-blown college scholarships, and you could avoid military service. Or there would have been ways for your parents to find out ways to get you theoretically into the service, maybe through the National Guard, where you wouldn't be placed in Vietnam. You would be serving your country domestically, and you wouldn't have to get over there. But if you were of lower economic means and you only had a partial high school education, you were a high school dropout, you were vulnerable to be drafted, and you were heading over to the jungle in 65, 66, 67, and on. What was the big thing going on? What was one of the big things going on, apart from riots in the streets, protests, and what have you? There were the silent objectors, and these were college age kids. We call them college age kids, young adults, who decided who knew I have no way out of serving, and I'm not going over there. And so my ticket out is I'm going to Canada, and I'm going to be a draft dodger. That's what I'm going to be, a draft dodger. And for a while, these kids were really looked down upon by fellow family members, colleagues, communities, and the country at large. But as the war drew on in Vietnam, this became less of a big deal. And as the footage from Vietnam became obvious to Americans, when Walter Cronkite said the war is unwinnable, the opinion of the American public began to turn to a majority against the war versus for the war or for the administration. In other words, people stopped believing the bullshit coming out of the White House and began to realize this is crap and our kids are getting slaughtered over there for nothing because we keep retaking Hill number 101 all the time. And these kids who are coming back are telling the stories of what's really going on over there. And people had to ask themselves, do I believe what the president and the Pentagon is telling me, or do I believe what these kids who are relatives of mine, or my brother's kid just came back, or my son's college roommate just got back, or whatever it is? Who do I believe? Do I believe the returning soldier? Do I believe reporters, or do I believe the crap coming out of the administration? This was the scene. I'm setting the scene for you in 1965, 7, 8, 9, 77, 2, 3. And you're going, what does this have to do with the market? I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Now we're going to go fast forward 60 years, 50 years later. Welcome to 2022. And today, what is happening in Russia today? Putin announces he's calling up 300,000 reservists to help with the special operation, the special military operation in the Ukraine. And 300,000 are being called in for active duty starting next week in Russia. And that means you're going to take 30 and 35 and 40-year-olds and 45-year-olds out of their day jobs, out of their whatever they're doing, and you're going to bring them into the National Guard kind of facilities and get them into shape, show them how to fire a rifle again, put them into military uniforms, and take over positions in Russia to start with, to send the trained troops that are stationed in Russia into Ukraine to win back the territory that they've been losing like crazy the last month. And what is going on today? A little bit of how do I say it? If you were trying to book a one-way flight out of Russia internationally, there's only so many places you can go right now because everyone else has cut you off. You can't fly to London. You can't fly to Frankfurt. You can't fly to Paris. You can fly to Istanbul, Turkey. They're still allowing international flights. Turkey needs the money. I think you can fly to Dubai. You can fly to Riyadh, I think in Saudi Arabia. There are certain countries you can fly to, but not many. All flights out of Russia for the next 3 to 6 months, one-way flights, are sold out. Every single seat on every jet leaving Russia for one-way travel sold out. And I can tell you, I am hearing that 95% of the tickets that have been sold out are for males, men, not women and children, men. Because what is happening in Russia right now, at the kitchen table at mom and dad's house or grandma and grandpa's house, they're looking at the man, the 30-year-old father of two, who served in the military 10 years ago when he was 18, 20, whatever. And they're saying to him, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Mom and the kids will follow you later when you figure out where it is you're going. But get on a plane and get out. We'll raise the money within the family and get you the ticket. Grandma and grandpa can't go. They don't have to go because they're not going to be in the military. The children aren't going in the military, but you are. And what is your future? waiting for you. And the future waiting for you is you get to serve along some guys in your so-called unit when you are placed in Ukraine, and that's where you're going. You're gonna go into Ukraine. Some of your fellow soldiers could well be convicted criminals from prisons that are being offered contract work right now by the Russian government to serve as soldiers on the front line. Would you like your bunk mates to be from the so-called security, maximum security, medium security prison 500 miles away, guys that, were convicted of beating people up or rapists or who knows what, whatever their crime? You want to hang out with these guys? Get the hell out of Dodge. And so a mass exodus is happening as I speak by rail, car, and plane of a whole bunch of Russian guys who realize it's only a matter of time before I have to join the military. Because at the moment, it's a reservist call-up, which means former reservists. It's not a general draft, but that's the next one. And he doesn't want to do it. Putin doesn't want to do that because that's an admission that we need more troops for this special military operation. In the meantime, let's call a vote in the territory we've dominated, that we've taken over. We'll have a vote, and of course the vote will be, yes, we'd like to join Russia. Of course it's going to be that. And now we're defending Mother Russia. And anyone who comes into Mother Russia to attack that territory, we declare war on that country. And so if the Americans help the Ukrainians try to take back territory that is now voted to become part of Russia, that's America invading Russia. All bets are off. The markets don't get it. Stock markets are not paying attention to the fact that there's a possibility that this Yahoo Putin is going to declare war on all kinds of countries, starting with the European countries, first of all. Because if they find an advisor from Germany in territory that just voted to become part of Russia and has been recognized as Russian territory by Russia, they find a German advisor showing these guys how to fire this weapon they just bought they just got handed to them from the Germans, they will declare war on Germany because they're saying Germans are in Russia. And that is a no-no. And they'll do that with Finland, they'll do that with Sweden, Norway, Poland, everybody around them, and then they'll just expand it out. And of course, if you declare war on Germany, you've declared war on NATO. If you've declared war on NATO, you have declared war on the United States of America and Canada and all the other NATO countries in one fell swoop. That changes everything. Now Putin can bring in the draft and can bring in all the eligible males that are 18 and older in Russia immediately. And that changes all of that dynamic. And this will cause unbelievable uncertainty in the financial markets. But at the moment, the financial markets are oblivious to all this because today is interest rate day at the Fed. Yay! The Fed's going to raise rates today. That's what we're all paying attention to. And the analysts out there have said this morning again, they have said, oh, well, did you know that out of the last 10 days, the last 10 times the Fed announced an interest rate decision, the markets went up 8 times out of 10. That's the talk on the networks. That's the talk of the talking heads. That's the talk of analysts. This is Wall Street at its finest, coming up with some excuse somehow, somewhere, some way to say to you guys, don't sell. Don't sell anything. Hang on to the stock you have. Hold on to those investment funds. Keep your money with the Wall Street pros because we know how to manage your money. 8 out of 10 times, the last 10 times the Fed has made a rate decision, the markets have gone up. It must mean that prior to those 10 times, there must have been like 4 or 5 or 6 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 or 8 out of 12 that the markets went down. But we're only going to the last 10 because from then to now, the markets went up 8 times. So it's an 80% likelihood over the last 10 months or over last year or so, the markets are going to go up. Really? That's great. I'm gonna sink my entire fortune into the hands of the Wall Street pros based on this statistic, while in the meantime, Russian men are fleeing Russia any way they can, as quick as they can. And if they're allowed to cross the land border into Finland, they're doing it. But I think that's been cut off. They're not able to go across the borders into other countries from Russia that are NATO aligned. They're allowed to go into, I guess, Georgia. They're allowed to go into whatever the stand countries are, and Azerbaijan and Turkestan, and I name them. I can't name them all off. They're all over there. But I can bet you that there are boatloads of guys, males, that are 25 to 40 that are heading out, and they're moving. They're on the road right now, and they are being driven by relatives. You know, Uncle so-and-so who's 55 is driving two 30-year-olds down to Georgia to cross the border. They'll walk across, or he'll drive them across and he'll drive back. And they're flying out, and they're getting out on trains, and they're taking buses. They're getting the hell out because they know what is waiting for them. You can trade in your Uncle Bruce Stock Market with Uncle Bruce t-shirt and trade it in for a military outfit next week, because you're now going to be relegated to some base somewhere, and you're not going to be talking to your family on a daily basis anymore. Now you're going to be fed the propaganda that we're going to go fight Nazis in Ukraine. Yay, we're going to go fight Nazis. Yeah, you're going to be shown how to be a frontline soldier in a war where you're up against the Ukrainians, who have everything to fight for, with American-made, Western country-made, technologically superior weapons. You're going to get your butt handed to you because you don't know what you're doing with what you got, and you're fighting with a 1970 rifle against some really sophisticated crap. And these guys kind of know it. The younger they are, they do know it, because they are able to circumvent the Russian media cutoff machine to find out what's really going on over in the Ukraine. They know exactly what's happening over there, and they're going, I'm not going there. No way am I going to that. Thanks, but no thanks. Watch for that. In the meantime, in America, what's the big talk going on other than interest rate hikes today? Quietly and systematically, what is happening today or last night? It was announced. Gap announced the layoff of 500 corporate positions at the Gap. They've already closed. The stores are going to close. They've already laid off store managers that they're getting rid of. They've already got rid of warehouse people they're getting rid of. They've had their Kanye West departure, whatever the hell that was, all that crap. Their stock is getting crushed, has been now for over a year. And now they're laying off at the corporate level, because that's all that's left that you can cut back. You can't cut back anywhere else. And so they're dumping in-house employees. And my hunch is the memos are coming from on high down to the supervisors. And if I had to make a guess on this, and I can't prove this, okay, this is just your Uncle Bruce speculating what's going on. I would bet you that HR people are being told the ones that we want to let go are the oldest employees we have. Dump the 50-plus-year-olds, then dump the high 40-year-olds. And it's not that we don't like their experience. What we don't like is the fact that when you turn 50 and older, 55 to 60, those last 10 years, you become more ill more often. You cost us money on our health plan. Get rid of the old farts and keep the kids, because the kids will get nervous and do whatever we tell them to do, because they don't have the maturity to say, screw you, I'm walking. I'm not taking this crap from you guys. We can really control the remaining employees. We'll scare them into submission. But let's dump the wisecrackers and the smart Alex, the ones who aren't intimidated by these moves. Let's get rid of them and get rid of the most expensive employees that are costing our healthcare plan the most money. And that'll reduce our costs dramatically. Then we'll turn around, and then what we'll do then is we'll then hire back either some of those people as individual contractors on just a monthly basis only so that we can dump them anytime we want. Or we'll go to firms that are temp agencies, and we'll start looking for people from time to time there to handle some of the 500 positions we're letting go. But right now, let's just put way more work on the backs of our younger workers, our younger admin people, to handle the work that these 500 were doing. And let's go with that, because we're a company in trouble. And we're backing off on sales, we're backing off on projections, we're backing off on retail and online, everything. We're having all kinds of problems here. And that's what's going on there at that company. In the meantime, FedEx shocked corporate America last week, and this story is quickly fading away. I mean, it's amazing the 8-second attention span of all of society. But in particular, what's blowing me away is the 8-second attention span of investors and the analysts who are handling their clients' money. A week ago, FedEx came out and said, our business is deteriorating so quickly, we can't make forecasts for the next quarter or the quarter after that. Our business is deteriorating so quickly that we are going to immediately shut down certain offices. We're going to park jet planes. We're going to park planes that we make payments on. We're not flying them. We're going to lay off the pilots. We're going to lay off ground crews. We're going to defer expenses. When Federal Express announces that, that is an indictment against the entire U.S. economy. This is not, oh, it's just the lawyers that are doing less business and they're not moving as many documents around. Or, oh, it's just some online sellers aren't moving as much product. And so, we're not having as many packages from online sales. Or we lost a contract with Amazon in the Northeast because Amazon is taking over their own shipping and they've dumped us. And no, it is not a one company thing. It is not a one product thing. It's not a one sector of the economy thing. This is a complete pullback of business by everybody. And FedEx is going, holy crap, the measles just showed up. We have got bumps all over the place. This is whack-a-mole, what we got here. We have got slowdowns from coast to coast, north to south, in all industries, all at the same time, because corporate America is smart. Corporate America anticipates the future very well. Corporate America, at the highest level, have the best business people out there. And these kids are paying attention to trends, and what they're seeing is what FedEx is getting right now. They've already noticed that their businesses aren't recovering to pre-pandemic numbers. They've also noticed there's a slowdown in their businesses, not necessarily domestically, but where they're really noticing a slowdown is a third of their business is done overseas. And they've noticed a complete collapse of overseas business opportunities. And what they know, and what I want you to know, is that there's one commodity that is surging in value right now around the world. It is hitting numbers that haven't been seen in decades in certain sectors. And this item that is surging in value is one of the most important items in the world's economy that is irreplaceable. You have to have it. And without it, you can't be an international player. And what is that item that is surging in value that no one is stopping at the moment? The value of the US dollar. The American dollar against all currencies around the planet is surging in value. And I keep yelling at you about the euro and the British pound. That's the one. Those are the two I keep talking to you guys about. I don't yell at you about the Japanese yen or the Chinese yuan or the Canadian dollar or the Mexican peso, but I can tell you, kids, the American dollar is surging against all relevant currencies. And it is absolutely evident in one case, in one country's case, where it's been a kind of a quiet thing. We all know about the euro, it's at par or less. We all know about the pound, it used to be 140, 130, now it's only 112 or 113 to the US dollar. We know about that. But it isn't talked about too much, not too much elsewhere, but it is talked about in bond circles. The Japanese yen. The Japanese yen. This is the world's fifth largest economy, fourth largest economy. It is a powerful nation economically, very powerful. The Japanese yen, the Japanese bank, and the government of Japan have allowed it to depreciate against the American dollar. They have not raised interest rates domestically to their citizens. The 10-year Japanese bond will pay you 1/4 of 1% interest for the next 10 years if you buy it. Now, if you buy it, if you bought it a year ago, you were getting a tenth of a percentage point. You were maybe even losing money, but it was around here. The problem is, here's the deal. If you spent $1 million as a hedge fund, as a mutual fund, as a pension fund, you bought $1 million, 10 million, 100 million of Japanese 10-year notes a year ago, you have lost 25% of your money compared to the American dollar, because the Japanese yen, which you have to convert your money to get the note, has dropped 25% in value against the American dollar in the past 12 months. That means if you live in Japan, earn money from Japanese, an employer from Japan, you're paid in yen. And if you are paid in Japanese yen, the good news is the company that you work for, if they're an exporter, and they likely are if you're with a large corporation, because they're one of the greatest exporting nations on earth, all the goods that you offer for sale to customers around the world, you generally price your goods compared to the American dollar. And so if you're importing into the US, you're sending stuff to America, the prices you're charging your American clients are 25% lower just on a currency arrangement. Now, there's inflation that's come in for shipping costs and all that, but not 25% higher in 1 year. The goods from Japan to America, or from Japan to Germany, or to England, to Canada, have gone down in cost to these countries, because the Japanese currency is off 25% in the last year. So if you're in Japan and you want to buy an Apple iPhone, you want to buy something made in America, and I'm desperately trying to think of what's made in America that a Japanese national would buy, because Levi's are not made in America. These aren't made in America. They're designed in America. What do you Americans make that Japanese want to buy? I'm having trouble figuring this out. Jack Daniels, maybe? Getting some Jack Daniels booze from Kentucky, I suppose. That's American made, right? They're not going to bring in Budweiser. They get their own beer. Anyway, if you're buying American goods, and it might be software, from Microsoft, it's costing you 25% more. And if you're importing product from Europe, it's costing you more, because yes, the euro has gone down against the US dollar, but not 25%. The British pound has gone down close to 20-odd%. So that's a wash. But certain countries' currencies haven't dropped 25% against the American dollar. And so Japanese are paying more for imported goods. So your standard of living in Japan has gone down. Their purchasing power has gone down. This is bad news for American companies. American companies that like to sell stuff to other foreign countries are now selling stuff in American dollars that are way up compared to the currency that they're dealing with. So Americans buying are buying cheaper. Americans selling are trying to sell at a much higher price. And this is a strategy of the Fed to slow down the American economy. If you could drive the dollar up in price, by threatening higher interest rates, you can make the dollar go up higher and faster than interest rates are actually going up. And while you're doing all of that, you are also selling off some of the bonds that you own, as the Federal Reserve is doing. Quantitative tightening, you are reducing the number of US dollars that are available to be circulated, which means there's a demand on US money higher than what's available, keeping the US dollar at a higher level. This is how you slow down the world economy, and in particular, you slow down the American economy. And we are noticing it at the fringes now. On the outside of the US economy, we're noticing the Gap, Federal Express. We heard from Walmart. Our margins aren't as good as they were. We're hearing it from Target. We're hearing it from Microsoft. Microsoft announced 3 months ago our margins aren't as good as they were a year ago. We're expecting lower margins. And we heard just the other day, Apple announced we're raising our prices for our apps on our phone. These apps are made by American entrepreneurs and they get paid in American money. But the folks over at Apple, when they offer an app for sale on an Apple phone in Warsaw, Poland, the Polish buyer is paying euros to purchase the app. Well, the American app creator is going, I'm not interested in selling my app for less money because my American dollar is going up. I'm getting fewer American dollars in my hand because the euro is losing buying power. And so Apple is raising the price of apps globally in all those currencies that they operate in to keep the price higher for the American entrepreneur who's selling them and creating them. This is inflation and this is a slowdown. That means fewer apps are going to be sold on Apple phones. You may find that it's a 0.5 percentage point pullback, a 0.75%. It's just it'll be a slight effect. But this adds up to billions of dollars because of the volumes we're dealing with here. And this is the slowdown that the Fed wants and the Fed needs. The problem is when you start to begin to notice, layoffs with this company, no projections of economic performance from that company. We're parking jets. We're shutting down regional offices. FedEx is offloading corporate workers. This is going to spread, and it's going to spread quickly, and it's going to affect the unemployment number in the United States. I would bet you right now, in America, if you were running a burger joint, a mom and pop burger joint, and you were trying to hire a dishwasher, a line cook, a waiter, or a waitress, if you were offering today what you used to offer 2 years ago for wages, no one is applying for your job. No one. If you were to offer what everyone else is offering right now, you have a 50-50 chance of getting people to walk in the door because you're nothing special. If you were to offer 25% more money than anyone else offers for the same job, you'd have people applying, coming to you. But what you'd notice is that it's not the unemployed coming to you, it's the employed. You're going to start stealing staff from other outfits because there are no unemployed. There are no unemployed dishwashers out there with no job to go to. They have jobs up to their wazoo at whatever per hour. So they're already working. The question now is, can I work at that mom and pop place? Can they give me a 40-hour week? Are they offering me some kind of health care, some kind of benefits, something, what? And how much per hour am I getting? And if the answer is you work for those guys, you'll get the same benefits you have now, which are crap, but you can get 25% more money in your pocket. You're going to walk because the loyalty of employees to BS jobs that are out there is zero. There is no loyalty for anyone who has a BS job. What loyalty could they possibly have with an employer that has them at the bottom of their pile of crap? I mean, come on, really? They're going to go. They're going to walk, and they'll take the money. That's absolutely what's going to happen. That's inflation. built into the economy at the lowest denominator. And that's a problem for the Fed, because if the dishwasher, the line cook, the waitress, the janitor of an organization, the warehouse workers, we're talking the grunts of the world, can get 10, 20, 25% pay raises. On the one hand, I say congratulations, get it. But the bad news for the Fed is that inflation is built into the economy at the lowest denominator, and it goes up from there. And this is bad news for inflation. And that means bad news for higher rates. Now, look, the Fed wants to slow down the housing market to kind of calm things down. Hey, the easy way to do that is have rates go up, have interest rates go up, and mortgages are now 6-7%, and fewer people are qualified to buy homes, and others will just hold back and go, I'm not buying a house right now. I'm not going to sign a 25-year mortgage where I am starting off at 7% interest. No, I'm not doing it. But the reality is this: if you're a dishwasher or a janitor with company blah, you can't get a house. You don't qualify for a mortgage. The Fed can't target you for that. So the Fed goes, oh, okay, well, we'll raise rates because that'll make car payments more expensive, and that will slow the economy down there. The janitor is going to say, car payments? I don't qualify for a car payment. I'm a janitor. I'm a line cook. I take out the garbage at McDonald's, man. I can't get a car loan. No dealer will talk to me. The only car dealers that talk to me are the used car dealers, who try to get me to sign an 8-year contract on a 5-year-old car. And they want me to pay $300 a month on a piece of crap car with 85,000 miles on it. Those are the cars I can get. That's not slowing down the economy. The economy slows down if new cars don't come off the lot as they were before. But Detroit is saying to the Fed, hey guys, we can't get our cars off our production line. Here at Ford, we have 45,000 trucks that we can't deliver to our dealerships. Why? We're missing parts, because we don't make parts in America anymore like Henry Ford originally created us when he created the company way back when. It used to be a Ford truck, a Chevy truck, Silverado, whatever it is you're driving, was 100% American made and sourced. That's not the case anymore. The inside of underneath the hood of a Ford or GM, there's a percentage of American-made goods, but there's a percentage of non-American-made goods. And that's because over the years and decades, the unions got such fat raises from these automakers that it costs too much money to have the transmissions made in Dearborn or wherever, Lansing or wherever. And these car companies are outsourcing parts. Now, some parts Canada made, some parts Mexico made, some parts China made. And more cars that we're driving, more and more vehicles that we are interacting with, have parts made all around the world, but not in the USA or in Canada anymore. That game is over. And so the supply chain issues that we've been dealing with here continue on unabated. And the Fed is trying to slow down an economy, and it's like hitting a whack-a-mole game all over the place. It is a mess. But evidence is beginning to show up that if you make it tougher for the U.S. dollar, keeps going up, and you have inflation out there, you have supply chain issues, you raise rates, you will begin to see the outliers of the U.S. economy, Canadian economy, European economy. You'll start to see companies around the edges here announce layoffs. The weakest, most vulnerable companies are the first to announce layoffs and closures of stores, facilities, factories, what have you. That's how it begins. The problem is how far do you let that go until you ease up on your policies, your economic policy, and you stop raising interest rates. You level them off for a while. You stop heavy quantitative tightening and you ease off a while. The problem with the Fed could be, and again, this is, some analysts are saying this, it could be, yeah, that's right, they're raising rates right now, but I bet you they're going to raise them too high, and they're going to keep them too high for too long, and they're not going to ease up on the quantitative tightening until the damage is done, and it's irreversible. That the only way they're going to be able to undo the damage they've created is to cut rates and do quantitative easing for the next 5 years, because business has long memories. Business people are like the Godfather. They don't have 8-second attention spans. Smart business people are just like the Godfather. They don't forget who slighted them and who's loyal to their cause. And if they get the impression that the Fed is out to hold back business, these business people will make moves now, preemptive, to protect themselves. What did a lot of American businesses do in the last 5 years up until last year? They went to the bond market and raised trillions of dollars from institutions, investors, at 1%, 0.5%, 0%. There were bonds issued last year, 2 years ago, 0 interest, convertible into stock, 25% higher than what the stock's trading at right now. Smart? No kidding. The folks over at DraftKings, they raised a couple of $billion, which I believe was at 0 interest, and they were offering their stock at $60 a share on a convertible deal. How much DraftKings stock would you like to buy right now on the open market? I got a deal for you. I'll tell you right now, you can get your hands on DraftKings stock on a super sale deal here. Let me just take a quick peek. I'm dying to know what this is. I keep forgetting. I watch so many different stocks. DraftKings. Here we go. How about with this? How would you like to buy some stock right now for DraftKings at $17.50 a share? There are bondholders for DraftKings with about $2 billion worth of DraftKings notes getting 0 interest, with an opportunity to convert their bonds into DraftKings stock at, I think, 60-something dollars a share. If memory serves correct, I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. Because there was a time back in March of 2021, just a couple of months after I went on the air, that DraftKings was over $70 a share. And I think when they were offering $60 convertible notes, they had a lineup of institutions that wanted in, because they couldn't get 3% interest from anybody. They couldn't get 2% interest from anybody. They could buy cruise ship debt and nail those guys 4.5%, 5%. Problem is, if they bought those bonds are now trading at half the value they paid for it, because a cruise ship company now wanting to raise money on bonds, it's all junk bonds, they're paying 8 to 14% interest, which means the 4% interest bond they bought 2 years ago for Royal Caribbean is trading at half its value, which would yield 9%, 8%. It might trade at a third of its original value and actually yield 12% to the buyer who's paying 33 cents on the dollar. Do you understand what's happening in the bond market right now? The bond market is getting crushed right now. The bond values are dropping as interest rates rise. The US government is handing out 4% interest for a 2-year note in American currency from the American government. Why would you want to buy a Royal Caribbean note at 4 or 5%? Are you out of your mind? As a pension fund, you would never do that. And your pension fund rules say you can't buy Royal Caribbean bonds right now, even if they do pay 12% or 14%, because it's junk bonds. The pension plan is forbidden to own garbage. They have to own AAA debt. What is AAA debt? American notes, American government debt, Canadian government debt, Swiss government debt, German government debt. Yes, AAA, absolutely. You can buy that stuff. You're not getting 12% interest from these guys. But you know what? If you do buy American debt, you're buying it in American dollars, and they've gone up 25% against the yen. Japanese pension funds own U.S. debt. Chinese pension funds own U.S. debt. Indonesia, Canada, the U.K., German, all the currencies around the world, all the governments around the world own U.S. debt because it's in U.S. dollars, and those dollars have appreciated while interest rates keep going up. Everyone else's is getting crushed. And in the corporate world, where again, the Fed is lasering in on the corporate world to slow them down. You make it very expensive to borrow money. And that's why the cruise lines are in big trouble here, because all the debt that's maturing that they issued 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, and all the way forward, every month, debt matures with the cruise lines that they raised, where they raised money 3, 5, 7 years ago, because they were issuing 3, 5, and 7-year bonds, as they still do today. And this year, Royal Caribbean is going, yeah, geez, 2023 coming up, we're going to need $500 million to replace the $500 million in debt we raised a few years ago. But the problem is that if we issue new debt now to pay off that debt, roll it over, in other words, you know that term, we're going to roll it over at 12 to 14%. We were paying 7 years ago 3% interest, 2.5%. 2 years ago, when the pandemic started, we had to pay 4.5%. Now we got to pay 12 to 14%. They've been trying to raise money for the last 2 years in anticipation of what's coming up this year, next year, and the year after. They have got a couple billion in the bank right now to just roll over debt in advance, because they already know we have to roll over this debt later, and we know it's just going to be way higher because we're not making money as a cruise line. They didn't realize that, oh my God, our costs of fuel is going to go through the roof too. We didn't know it was going to hit $120 a barrel. We didn't know there'd be 8% inflation on our food, on our booze, on our entertainers, our expenses for employees. We didn't know all these costs were going to go up like this, but they did. And when you're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar business, you're talking about billions of dollars in incredible expense increases. Because we're not talking about a company that does 100,000 a year in sales. We're talking about a company that does 100 billion a year in sales or more, whatever these numbers are for these guys. It's crazy. Tough times out there. Look, the market is up 153 points right now. The Dow is up 153 points right now because 8 of the last 10 times the Federal Reserve has announced a rate decision, the markets have gone up. That's all you need to know. That's all Wall Street is telling you. You have nothing to worry about. We're the professionals here. We're the pros from Dover. We're fine. We're going to handle it for you. There's a reason you pay us 2% management fees on the trillions of dollars that we're managing for you guys out there. There's a reason for that. We don't sell. We don't let you sell. We don't tell our clients to sell. We're always holding. We'll adjust our portfolios perhaps, but we're never going to sell, because if we sell, we have to give you your money back. We're not going to do that. What are we, nuts? We got these towers in Manhattan, in London, in Paris, in Frankfurt, in Tokyo. We have rent to pay, man, and we have bonuses to pay our top people who've been here for 20, 30, 40 years. We got to pay bonuses to these top people, and we have to have performance bonuses for our underlings to keep them around. And so we never say sell. We always say invest, keep investing, invest into the future, invest into your retirement years. We're here to manage it for you. The problem, of course, is if you're 45 years of age, 50 years of age, you're looking at your investments, you're looking at your portfolios, you're looking at all the money you've thrown in with your employer for the last 20 years, 25 years, 30 years into that 401k, whatever plan you got at your employment with your employer. And you're kind of saying to yourself, well, I'm like 48 to 50 now. I've only got 10, 15 years left to go. And then I'm 65. How is this $40,000 value portfolio of mine going to be worth $1 million or more? Because in 15 years from now, I have to have a certain number of assets. The assets have to be worth a certain amount of money for me to retire on it. And I didn't know that for 20 years, we'd have zero interest rates, 1-2% inflation, and then all of a sudden we'd go to 8 and 10 and 12% inflation. I didn't know that the cost of my mortgage will go up $800 a month because I'm rolling it over into the current rates. I didn't know that going to the grocery store, instead of spending $65 on groceries, I have to spend $85 on groceries. And I didn't get everything I wanted because some of it's sold out and it's not available right now. I didn't know that the cost of my car was going to go up by 40%. I didn't know that my kids are renting a condo or an apartment somewhere, and their rent is going to go up $300-400 a month, and I got to kind of help them out a little bit. I didn't know this. No one told me about this. My investments, how are my investments going to go from $40,000, $50,000 to $2 million in the next 10 years? How is that even possible? I mean, these guys, in these pros from Dover that have been looking after my money now for 20 years, hey, every dollar I put into this plan, I figured out how many dollars I've put into this plan and how many dollars my employer put into this plan. What have they done with this money? The rate of return on my money has been 3% a year. How the hell am I retiring in 10 years on that kind of a return on what I got sitting here? If I have $5 million now and it goes up 5% a year, I get it. But if I've got 50,000 and my wife and I are going to retire in 10 years from now, theoretically, and that's assuming I don't get sick, I don't get ill, I can work until retirement. How is this going to happen? It is not going to happen. That is the reality. What is your future? You're going to be a greeter at a Walmart store. That's your future. You're going to be standing at the front of a Walmart store greeting shoppers. You're going to be working, I don't know what. You're going to be working at a pizza place handling phone calls for pizza orders. I don't know. You're going to be at a pizza folding pizza boxes. You're going to be taking out the garbage for whatever an hour. That's your future, because you're going to be working until you die. You're not going to retire. And you're going to see your future when you go out now to wherever you're going, and you're going to go, oh, I don't want to be that person. Oh, I sure hope I don't have to be doing that when I'm 65. Oh, look at that person over there. She looks terrible, and you find out she's 54 and she can't work at the office anymore for whatever reason, but she got this job. Or you're looking at a 68-year-old male who was a draftsman at one time and had a career and is now relegated to crap work. This is the possible future for some folks out there. That's reality. That's the way it is. You know it, I know it. And then the other future that's out there, as you can see, I hate to say it, I love America, I love Canada, but get in your car, drive around your hometown, and why don't you drive underneath some of the bridges of the interstates and some of the, sketchier part of town during the daytime. Lock your doors and see how many homeless there are and where they are. And ask yourself, do I know anyone that might end up in this position in the next 10, 15 years? Scary or what? Yeah. How many millions of homeless are in North America right now? How many millions across the US and Canada? It's scary. And the cracks are widening. And this economic pain that the Fed is talking about, there's more of this coming, because inevitably when you spread the cracks out and you want slowdowns in the economy, who is affected first? The vulnerable, the ones at the bottom. Now, the good news is if you're at the bottom of the economic ladder and you're physically fit and you can wash dishes, you can take out the garbage, you can do manual labor, there's work for you. For now, there's work for you. But if you're a middle manager and you're an upper middle management kind of person, you are vulnerable to being knocked back down to the bottom rung. And you've got to find another way to make money or enhance your entity, your future. And that's why some of you are here. Some of you are here to hang out with this old man who's losing all his hair, who's homeless. You're trying to figure out why is it that when the markets go down, the people on this channel are always happy? Why is it that when the markets don't do anything, the people on this channel are always grinning? Why is it that on Fridays, when options expire, this channel is giddy? Why is that what's with these people? Are they drinking something I don't know about? How is that happening? Why is it with higher rates and higher unemployment and higher, tougher times and war in the Ukraine and all kinds of problems in China? Why are the folks on this channel, generally speaking, rather happy to be here? And they're quite happy with how it's going. And they cannot stop talking about how well they're doing with their option writing. It's because of the option writing. This is a trick question. Okay, it was a trick question. Thank you all for hanging out with me here on this channel, listening to the old man rant away. I don't know what the market will do today for sure. It's up 150 at the moment, but it's a tentative 150. We lost 300 yesterday. We lost 1,200 a week ago Monday. We're only 1,000 points away from the low of June. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, it might be an update today, but if we're up 50 points today, 150 points today at the end of the day, that's crap. That's garbage because we've lost 2,000 points in the last 3 weeks around here for the Dow anyway. There's a whole bunch of recovery required. It's not coming. I don't see it coming. Larry Titus has done what Larry Titus does very, very well. He has rung the bells to tell us the markets are open, kids. We're up and running. We're trading now. Let's see what this market really is going to do today. And how are you guys going to do with your options out there? We're going to find out here in moments as we keep an eye on things. Well, first of all, thank you. Any of you out there, while I've been just blabbing on, if you have been throwing me a thumbs ups because you like me, you like the channel, you enjoy the rant, or you know that if I don't give him a thumbs up now, all he's going to do is beg until he gets 200 thumbs ups. I'm going to give him a thumbs ups right now. I want to say thank you for those of you who have done that service and thrown a thumbs ups to this channel. I cannot thank you enough. You know it. You know how much what it means to us. Thank you all for that. We're going right now. Comments only. Comments that are now coming in will only be allowed for members of this channel. And again, if you're a local and you're a regular, you know why. Membership pays the bills for this YouTuber. It keeps us homeless in a hotel for now. It keeps us homeless in a hotel. And I thank you all for being members of this channel. If you're a Chillin' with Uncle Bruce member, you're able to comment here like crazy. If you're a Gold Bagel member, you're at the top of the food chain on this channel. You get 24 more things being a Gold Bagel member than if you're not a Gold Bagel member over a regular member. And one of them is, of course, the pre-market show. Before this show, you get the Trader Alert show. And tonight, every Wednesday night, tonight and every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, live with Uncle Bruce, prime time. And it's an intimate group of these folks here that come by. We hang out for about an hour or so, and we talk about whatever you want to bring up. And we talk about your trades and your strategies, and I'll throw some ideas at you. I'll react to any questions you have. It's like a one-on-one with a group of other folks. And if you want a one-on-one with me, you've noticed at the top of the comment section over here, there is an invitation to drop me an email and say, hey, Bruce, I'd like to have a one-on-one with you privately. I want to talk to you about my situation. I do those on Sundays at 10 in the morning, noon, and 2 o'clock Eastern time, Sundays. Send me a private email, I'll set you up. But if you can't afford the $400 for an hour, American for an hour, you can join me on Wednesday night prime time with these guys and have a little hangout here. That's a pretty affordable deal. To be a Gold Bagel member is about $25 a month or something like that, as opposed to being a Chillin' with Uncle Bruce member, which is $10 a month. Thank you for stepping up, those of you, and becoming Gold Bagel members. Those of you who are upgrading from Chillin' to Gold, thank you as well. Welcome to the party, pal. I try to make it worth your while with the extra benefits of being a Gold Bagel member. You can always watch the pre-market alert shows on a rerun during the day. You can always watch the primetime live show Thursday or Friday or Saturday on a rerun as a Gold Bagel member only. You can't watch those if you're not a Gold Bagel member. That's the price. That's the benefit of one of the payoffs of being the Gold Bagel member. Thank you all very much. Let's try to make some money today and let's get going. I see the Dow now up 98. Now it's up 94. That isn't holding that 150-point gain, is it? No, it's not. We've got the S&P up 14 and NASDAQ up 24 right now. There's nothing much going on here. Oil up $1.29 right now. Okay, folks, thank you all so much for hanging out and your kind words and how you help each other on this channel. A lot of folks here who have become members cannot believe it, that when they become a member and they start to talk here, they realize that if they happen to have a question of me, before I can even get to it, they're getting responses from other members who are here. We're here, we're live. We're live during market hours right now. So if you want to talk to me about a trade you're thinking of doing right now on the market, this is your chance. And either I and or fellow members may react to you and say, here's an idea for that contract you're thinking of writing, or here's an idea for that strategy you're thinking of employing. There's benefits there for that as well. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and welcome aboard, everybody. There's 322 of you here. We're up and running 5 minutes into the day. We're up 125 on the Dow at this moment, about a 0.4 of 1%. We got the S&P up 0.45 and NASDAQ up a quarter of a point with a 25 point gain. Oil up 134. GameStop right now 27.54 unchanged. Apple up 119 to 158.09. SoFi 577 down 12 cents. Rocket Lab is down 3. I think they make a presentation today. Today is Rocket Lab presentation day, some kind of an investor symposium. We'll see how that reacts, how the stock reacts to that. HPQ, Hewlett Packard, up 28 to 26.73. The AMC is still getting hit, down about 20 cents or so if you combine the common shares and the preferred shares right now. That's pushing that unit, those two shares combined. We're now at about, we're under $13. These common shares of AMC were $27 just as they were getting ready to do the split between common shares and preferred shares. Now they've done it. There's double as many shares outstanding, and they're plummeting. Combined value under 13. ME is down 8.5 cents to 2.92. Matterport is down a nickel at 3.93. ATIP is down 1 penny at 1.09. SmartRent at 2.46. I think this is the low of all time. We hit 244.2 this morning. That is the all-time low trade for this company. The market cap of SmartRent, SMRT, is $485 million. That is the entire value of the company if you multiply the price of the stock by all the shares outstanding. As far as I know, they have over 400 million cash in their bank account. 400, I believe they have over 400 million in cash, and their business is growing and it's expanding, and they're going towards a profitable line. They're going for profitability. This stock at 245 is being given away by the unknowing or those who have leveraged themselves into I don't know what else, and they are using this stock to just pay off other IOUs, and that's their fault. That's their problem, and that's too bad for them. But anyone who's buying SmartRent at 245 a share, you're just paying cash value for the stock. That's all you're doing. There's no downside from here as far as the value of the company goes. But the business itself is an up-and-comer, and it just blows my mind that it's sitting here. But at the moment, this moment in time, it's 245. Spire, 118 a share. Company on doing everything right. Stock is doing everything wrong, but it is cheap and it's available for now. Cyxtera down a dime at 451. Bed Bath & Beyond down 12 cents to 748. The carnage will continue there. Tesla down 53 cents, 308. It's resilient. Pfizer up 9 cents today. Boeing is up 18. Cisco is up a nickel. They're just in the plus side. Twitter down 20 cents. Home Depot down up 353, to 277. Carvana up 27. Robinhood down 9. Vanik Semiconductor, the ETF is up 45 cents. IBM is up 86 cents. Microsoft up $2. Goldman Sachs up 46 cents. Google up 18, and Amazon down 24. If you want to make money writing options, you want to look at writing options on stocks like theoretically Amazon, but I would look more at Google than Amazon. I think the Google shares at 102 a share now are trading at 19 times earnings, and that is far more reasonable on a PE multiple for a company with tremendous upside potential. I mean, they dominate the internet. They're not going anywhere. Amazon, unfortunately, if you want to buy their stock, the problem you're faced with is, number one, it's a 111 times earnings multiple. So from an earnings point of view, you would be crazy to play with Amazon shares. But number two, Amazon is at the end of the food chain when it comes to making money. They are making money from people like you and I who buy merchandise on Amazon. And if the economy is going to slow down and prices are going to continue to rise for goods and services, that means prices on Amazon will continue to go higher. The cost of business to Amazon will go higher, and they may have a lower volume of goods, like FedEx announced already the destruction of their business. Their business model is imploding on them. They don't know how bad it's going to get. And Amazon, we haven't heard the actual word yet, but my hunch is Amazon is not going to be good either. And so I wouldn't go there. I'd go Google. Deep in the money calls you can buy on Google and write poor man covered calls. If you don't know what that means, check out, what is it, class number 8? I've done lessons. There are lessons on my website that you can take on how to write options and what everything means and how it works. Check it out. Goldman up 87 cents. I don't know how tentative, how good that's going to last. Rates are going higher, which means banks should make more money in theory. But this means for Goldman and for JP Morgan and Bank of America and Merrill Lynch and all of the folks in Wall Street, higher rates means that the IPO market is dead or getting deader. It means that corporate financing deals are going to get harder to sell, harder to place, which means commissions are going to be harder to come by. And that's bad news for these guys, and that might affect their shares somewhat. Microsoft, $244 a share. Perfect stock to buy deep in the money calls on and write options against. IBM, same thing, a 5% yield if you buy the stock and then write covered calls against your stock. Vanik Semiconductors, good premiums there. Very good premiums on Vanik. You can buy Vanik, either the shares or deep in the money calls, and write on those. You might make some nice returns on that. Home Depot, if you've got enough dough to buy 100 shares or to buy deep in the money calls, maybe 250s, 240s, something like that, write those calls against that stock. Might be the way to go. Cisco, definitely you want to pick up deep in the money calls on Cisco or the stock itself, write calls there. Boeing, yeah, you could buy $100 in the money calls if you like. There's probably some good premiums on Boeing. Pfizer, the stock can be purchased. The PE multiple is 8.7. Pretty good. You could take a look at that. As far as yield, if you buy Pfizer, the dividend is 3.5%, which is kind of equal to a 10-year note right now. So that's fair enough. But you can write options on Pfizer to enhance your revenues. Tesla at 309, yes, you can buy the stock or you can buy deep in the money calls if you get them on the 90-10 rule. You want to know what that is? Check out my classes on poor man covered call writing and figure it out. Protect yourself. Don't overpay for those calls. Anyway, we'll see how it all plays out here as we move on. We're up 160 on the Dow. We're back to where we were in the pre-market. That's all we've done here. We opened up at 150, went down to be up, 60, 70 points. Now we're up 160 again. We're not going anywhere, I'm sorry to say. The rates are coming out at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then we'll be wavering from there. There'll be the good run, the bad run, the good run, the bad run. We are not going to gain 1,000 points today. I do not see that coming. There is no Shangri-La moment in our future at the moment, but there will be volatility, and we are seeing it right in our faces. GameStop right now, $27.97. Those of you who are looking to write call options, you want to take up moves and write call options. That's what Apple is doing right now with a 71-cent gain. GameStop up 45. You want to take advantage of these. Look at the Rocket Lab. We were down a few cents. Now we're up a penny. How is that going to react today? HBQ is up 26 cents today to 26.72. maybe writing 27s or 28s is a good idea for the next few weeks. There could be some ideas there, some possibilities. Who knows? Dude is saying, I have September 23rd, 2025 covered calls I sold 2 weeks ago for 205. Should I roll over or wait for Friday and get exercise? The thing is, it's GameStop. He said, okay, it's GameStop. So you have calls you wrote. I have 923. Okay, I'm gonna make a guess. This isn't 2025. These are September 23rd calls that die in 2 days, and he did 25 of them for 205 each. What I don't know is what price these were written for. I don't know what these are. What is the strike price? It's going to be around here somewhere. Obviously, it's got to be around this neighborhood. But in any event, I wrote 2 weeks ago 205. I don't know what they're trading at now. So it's kind of a half a question. And how do you expect me to give you a full answer? I don't know what to tell you unless I know what the strike price is. What are they trading at right now? And then I can at least have a fighting chance to figure it out with you. Hopefully, the rollover you're going to consider will be at the same strike price or a little higher. It'll be a week or 2 or 3 down the road, and the price you get will equal what you're paying to buy these back or more. That's the simplest way to say it. The strike is 25s. He's saying, I'm finally getting that. So 25s right now are showing 243 to 295 on my system, which is 10 minutes delayed. So I can't be that any more accurate than that. You may want to look at 25s, 26s, or 27s for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks forward. If you can, at the same price it costs you to buy these back. But these, you want to put in a stink bid if you're going to do it. You don't have to do it today. It's Wednesday. But I will say that with the stock at 2807, these are worth 307 book value. And so if you can score them for 310, 315, you're just paying the value that they have. Now you need to sell a call for over that price. If possible, I would prefer you bring in more cash if you can do it, even if you write 25s for a few weeks out. But if you can write a 26 or a 27 and bring in 310, 320, 350, well done move. There you are. I'm a small fish here, says the dude. Right on. No problem, my friend. The trade is the trade. And that's what it's all about. What else is going on? Thank you, everybody, for popping in and seeing me. Jennifer, my 125 Amazon call that expires this week. I'm super happy right now. Having done that move, Amazon shares are at 122.37. The 125 is out of the money. And so Jennifer is sitting with a call that is shrinking out. And she's going to score a nice little return at pace for her being a member of this channel. More than pace, probably for a whole year, the kind of money she's going to make on this thing. Nice, nicely done. Welcome one, welcome all to the market today. Uncle Bruce, what should we write for next week or the week after on GameStop? What are your thoughts? Well, the stock's 28.30 right now. As I said earlier, 29s, 30s might be the plan for next week. So you want to write out of the money for time premium as much as you can get your hands on. So if you're writing for next Friday or the Friday after, can you get your hands on $1.50, $2.50 a contract for an out of the money contract? That's what you want. That would be great. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you. AZ, thank you for your rant, Uncle Bruce. Glad I didn't miss it. It's always gold. By golly, I'm absolutely giddy this morning, says Coyote. What do we got going here? Headline coming out through Twitter, just interesting here. Russian airlines ordered to stop selling tickets to Russian men aged 18 to 65. Interesting. Russian airlines are being told not to sell tickets to men 18 to 65. Interesting, isn't it? Wouldn't that be, what does that tell you? Does that tell you something? Yeah, hello. Yeah, they're walking. They're getting out of there. Now I'm wondering about the border closures. You can't get out. I wonder about that. Interesting. All righty, let's move on here. Thank you all for these comments. Let's see. Nick is saying that Foot Locker is tired. The Viagra effect is taking over. Short it now. Lame Duck Bruce, I am thumbs up number 172 here. I see 174 now, guys. You are awesome. Thank you for helping out with these thumbs ups this morning. We want to get to 200 as soon as possible. Hit that thumbs up button for us. Give us some forward momentum. Thank you very, very much. Constantine wrote GameStop September 30, 29 covered calls. I've just brought in $1.60 for an out of the money contract for next week. Nice job. Nice job. Way to go. Let's see. What else? I was poor man covered call hunting last night, says Bobby. I looked at the TTW. Oh boy, they got high premiums, not a 90-10 rule over there. Do not buy calls deep in the money unless they're a 90-10 rule or better, because you are screwing yourself if you do it. Nice work, Bobby. Sometimes the best thing to do is not to buy something. Take your time and keep shopping. Uncle Bruce, could you explain stink bid one more time? You know what I could do? Let me just double check something. Let me show you something. I think I have it here. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I have something I can show you. Let's see, where was this? Yeah, have you? Let me show you this picture. See if this will pop up. Let's see if this pops up. Jennifer and I got some work done last night, and thanks to Jennifer, these are available right now. Grab one of those. We have a new T-shirt and coffee cup design. Look at that, stink bid save lives. I like this design better than the other one because it's right to the point. Stink bid save lives, baby. Yes. Get your butts over to Redbubble and get your hands on one of these, and become a stink bid save live promoter. If you like, I have another design. That's a black shirt with white type. Then we have another version. Let's see if this will pop up or not. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of that and see if this one pops up or not. I have a computer that's doing a lot of stuff right now, and I'm asking it to do this. Show me a white shirt with black lettering or any other color you want. These are available in, 15 colors. I would not order the black shirt with the black type. You won't be able to read it. And don't order the white shirt with the white type. You won't be able to read it. But, red and green and yellow and blue and orange and whatever turns you on, you can grab these shirts. Stink bids save lives. And they do. They save lives and they save portfolios. They make people a lot of money. And stink bids are simple, easy peasy. If you're trying to buy something back, like a call you wrote, did you write a call option for $1.50 and the market is 45 to 75 cents, and you want to buy your call back? Don't put in a bid. Don't buy it at 75 cents. Don't do that. But don't join the guys at 45 either. There's a whole bunch of buyers at 45. Put in a 46-cent offer or a bid at 46. 1 penny higher than the nice round number of 45. Or if the market is 50 to 60, don't put in a 50-cent buy order. Put in a 51-cent buy order. You're first in line. The first option to trade at 51 cents will be sold to you. Even if other people join you, you're first in line. You get filled first. Make it an odd number. On the sell side, it's the same thing. You want to sell a contract, you want to write one, and the market is $2.50 to $3. Don't hit the $2.50 bid. What are you, an idiot? Don't do that. Offer a stink offer. If the market is $2.50 to $3, don't offer it at $3. Offer it at $2.99. If the market is $2.75 to $2.95, offer it at $2.94. 1 penny below when you're a seller, 1 penny above the bid as a buyer. And that's the best you're going to do. You might go less than that. The market might be, say you want to buy a call back and the market is 50 to 60, but the stock is dropping and you don't want to even pay 51 for it. Then put in a 41-cent bid. Let the people at 50 get their fill. They're paying too much. Let anyone above you get what they want. But at 41, you're first in line. The 40 people can wait. They don't know you're bidding 41 when the market is 50 to 60. Nobody sees your order at 41 unless they have level 3 or whatever trading. Get yourself a stake bid. It'll save lives. It's a good ways to go. You can make a lot of money this way. Thank you. I love the new merch, Uncle Bruce. So Uncle Bruce Stink Bits will save lives when the inflation hits 50%. I don't like that these guys force 5-cent increments at Fidelity. Well, if it's 50-60, go 55. If it's $1.25 to $1.50, go $1.30. It's not as round a number as 125. If the market is 2 to 250, go 205. Just be a stink bitter. Just get in front of the line, one level higher. How about a shirt that says "Right On"? DraftKings is dropping after Bruce talked about it. Did you just say the stink bid first in, first serve? Yeah. So if the market is 10 to 15 and you go 11, and 10 people join you at 11, you're the first in, you're first out. Yeah, my covered calls. Thank you, Uncle Bruce. Stink bids save lives. Get your T-shirt today and wear it when you're watching me live, or wear it around town. People come up to you. What does that mean? What is that? What does stink bid save lives mean? Then you try to tell them all about stink bids on covered call options and watch their face get all glazed over. They'll walk away shaking their head going, I don't know what that guy's talking about. That's right. It's called you making money and they not making money. That's what that means. We're up 195 on the Dow Jones. The Dow is trying to do something, and we're up 195 right now. GameStop is 28.13, up 59 cents. Apple just went negative. It's down 34. SoFi down 3. Rocket Lab unchanged. HBQ up 16 cents. AMC 8 shares down 20. ME down 9. Matterport unchanged. ATIP down 1.5. SmartRent down 3.5. Spire up 1 penny today. Cyxtera down a penny, and that's all. It's coming back up. Bed Bath & Beyond down 11 cents. Tesla down 122. Pfizer up 14. Boeing up 114. Cisco up 13 cents. Twitter down 4. Home Depot up 478. Carvana up 74. Robinhood up 20. Vanik ETF is up 196. IBM up 102. Microsoft up 229. Goldman up 37 cents. Google up 13. Amazon down 18. Meta Platforms down 147. Royal Caribbean down 239 to 47.10, dropping. Moderna down 4. American Airlines down 51 cents to 13.46. Disney down $1. Nvidia down $1. Walmart down up Nvidia up $1. Walmart up 2.40, and Costco up 5.50. Little recovery bounces over there. They've had a tough time lately. We're up 166 on the Dow. If you are a Russian male between 16 and 65, you cannot buy one-way tickets out of the country anymore as of now, because Putin needs bodies in Ukraine. And it's not a war. It's a special military operation, and males in Russia are about to be locked in. And that is why there has been a mass exodus of Russian males leaving Russia the last 3, 4, 5 months since the invasion into Ukraine, because a whole bunch of these younger guys figured it out that it's only a matter of time before they will not be allowed to leave Russia at all. And they're getting out now, and they got out 4, 5, 6 months ago. It's getting bad over there. It's bad. A dude sold 22 contracts this morning for $1,030. What does that mean in fees? I don't know what this means. Thank you, Bruce. I think I can afford that first lesson now. So I sold 22 contracts this morning, I think after fees. Right on, sir. Well done. What else? I always thought, it was a random pick. I didn't know I'd be first in line if I'm the first bidder. Let's see what else is going on here. DQ is saying the late thank you to Larry Titus for hitting those bells for us. SoFi earnings November the 9th or 10th, says DQ. We'll see what's going on. Let's see. Bobby, my cover calls. Thank you, Uncle Bruce. There you go. Interesting stuff. Welcome all to the show and the event. We're up 165 on the Dow. We're not going anywhere there. We've got GameStop at 28.13 now, up 59. The high of the day, 28, might have been 28.60. Let's just take a look. The high of the day on GameStop today, 28.60. That's right. And we're 28.15 at the moment. watching this market here. There we go. We got S&P up 20, NASDAQ up 35. We have oil up 35 cents right now. And prices ran wild the last 2 years, says this headline. Home builders say housing recession shows no signs of abating. The housing recession continues, and down go prices. Interesting. 4 things to watch when the Fed delivers its rate hike decision later today. Another headline is saying we'll watch for all of that. Interesting what's going on out there. 2807 on GameStop, up 53. The low today, 27.37. The high, 28.60. We've already had a $1.22 range, and we're just around the middle here of the range on GameStop right now. Volume today on GameStop, 510,000 so far. That equates to about 130,000 pre-split. Dead quiet. And that's bad news. We need volume to sustain these prices or get a significant up move. That means writing options is the way to go to take in the dough. All right. Welcome one, welcome all to the party, pal. Unbelievable. Let's see what else is going on here. Alberto, Google expiring October 1st. The 105s are at 217. Right on. 105s on Google. The stock itself right now is 102.11, and you can get a 217 premium to write 105s for October 1, just a couple of weeks out. Nice going. JR, just bought. I just bought my Stink Bid shirt. Wish you had collared shirts, though. Dude, I meant fees as in what I charge. Smile, dude. Gotcha. I just brought in $1,030. Alberto, BA, Boeing options, October 14, $150 strikes are going for $625 on the Boeings. That's interesting, isn't it? Boeing 150s, bringing in that kind of money. The stock's 147.27. You can write October 14th, about a month out, ballpark, not quite a month out, and get 625. That is good money. That's really good money. If you got taken out, that's 156.25. Stock's 147.24. Very interesting, Alberto. Bringing in the money. Why not? Bringing in the cash. 2804 on GameStop right now. The Dow up 178. Apple down a nickel. GameStop up 50 cents. SoFi down a nickel. Rocket Lab down 2 cents. LL, I'm late. I am thumbs up number 185. Thank you, LL, for being here and doing the first thing that you do is hit the thumbs up button. I so appreciate this. We have 187 in there now. We only need 13 more thumbs ups to reach 200. Can any of you help out? Are there 13 of you watching right now that can hit the thumbs up button right now for me and get us over 200 right away? That would be a beautiful, beautiful thing. 187 in, 13 to go to reach 200 thumbs ups again every day. You guys help me and do it. I love you for it. 189 now, 11 to go. Just 11 needed. Now we got 191, 9 to go. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. A 194, 6 left. 6 thumbs ups left to get, and we've got 200. Now we got 198, 2 to go. 2, just 2 more. And we'll have 200 plus thumbs ups. Thank you guys so much for that. There it is, 201 every time. You guys are the best. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please join the channel today and become part of the party here. Let's make some money. Alberto, I love these contracts that you're looking to write, bringing in some nice coin here. And why not let the gamblers be the guys on the floor of the casino who are going to guess where the stock is going. You take the money up front and give a little bit of it back later. Nice guy that you are. Well done. GameStop 2803 up 49. Apple down 14 cents now. The Dow up 175. Oil up 25 to 28 cents a barrel. That's all it's doing now. U.S. existing home sales fell 0.4% in August is the word. Let's take a look right there. Lowest since May 2020, 4.8 million annual rate for U.S. existing home sale rate That's the lowest number since May 2020. That is significant in the so-called housing recession that is being talked about out there. Very, very interesting stuff. All right. Alberto, it's time to cross them arms, folks. Let's go. There it is. Alberto is crossing his arms and sitting on a bunch of dough saying, okay, either depreciate, go down, stay even, go up. I'm ready to make money. Right on. Tesla drops. That's a nice donation. Come on, Tesla. The Tesla right now is sitting at 307.46, down $1.27. Something tells me that those calls that you wrote, those 310s, are depreciating on you lovely in a lovely way. Way to go, pal. Nicely done. Nicely done. Dude, okay, Uncle Bruce, I sent you a payment for the first lesson. You should see it under my civilian name. I'm going to go through them all and level up to become a simpleton. Thank you all. Those of you out there who are acquiring the lessons on my website, thank you so much for that. You can go to my website, which is right here, stockmarketswithbruce.ca, and you'll find the homepage there. You'll find the lessons available under the lesson tab. Thank you all for picking those off. If any of you have any trouble trying to download your lessons, do let me know. Send me an email. There's the homepage of my website. Here's the classes tab. And once you click that, you start scrolling down that tab and you'll see lesson 1, lesson 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There they are. And Poor Man Cover Calls. There's number 8 right there. And number 9, how to trade butterflies and how do I pick my stocks, and using Poor Man Cover Calls to quit your day job, rolling over stock options. You got to take these classes, kids. You got to get them all to understand what's going on in this option market. You do that, you're going to make it's going to be a lot easier to figure out what we're talking about here all the time, and you'll understand why these people are so happy all the time when they're writing options. They're just giddy. If any of you have any issues when you do acquire a class, if you can't get the link to work or you can't get it to load up, send me a private email and just say, Bruce, I just bought lesson number so-and-so. Can you please send me a link? I'll get you the link to the class through an email, and then you can refer to that anytime you want. Watch the class as many times as you wish, again and again and again, and get yourself educated on how to do option writing and what they're all about and how they work and depreciate and appreciate, why people buy them, why people write them, how they do it, that kind of thing, and learn how to make money in this market. Okay. Look how much younger he was on those photos for his website. He was just a kid. He was just a kid back then. Alberto, what do you think? Will Tesla drop to the 299 range? I have a stink bid in for another 200 shares. It hasn't hit yet. Come on, Uncle, put on your aluminum foil hat. The stock of Tesla in one day can move $15 up or down. So, Alberto, you don't need a miracle to get more Tesla shares at a price you want to pay. All you need is your patience. And right now it's off 170 to 307. Just sit back with your arms folded, put in your stink bid every day and wait, and then you will be rewarded. I'm certain of it. Zach, number 209, thumbs ups. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Zach. Coyote DQ, he's just a silly little kid back then, and when Bruce was taking those photos, he's just a kid. Nick, I hope you shorted Foot Locker when I told you to. Look at it now, says Nick. Look at it now. It's dropping. Way to go, Dick. Nick, make nothing but money. I love it when Nick gets rich. Nick's the kind of guy, he's a very generous guy, and I like to see it happen. Way to go, buddy. This morning it was at 38.65. It's now 37.94 and falling. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Good stuff, Nick. Well done, sir. Keep up the good work. Make yourself some dough. The Dow is up 184. The Dow itself is not falling off the face of the earth, but certain stocks are not performing, especially on the retail level. DQ, Coyote for sure, living the high life in Creston, playing Yoko Ono, eating bagels every day. I mean, wow. No wonder he had such a youthful look on his face. Such good times. Apparently, 2 people claim the $1.33 billion Mega Millions jackpot the third largest in U.S. History, in jackpot history. Two people each going for 650 plus million each. Congratulations, whoever they are. Hopefully, some of you know those people. Way to go. Alex, just a little 15-cent pop on HBQ, please. Patience here, 26.66, up 21 cents is where we're at right now on HPQ. GameStop at 28.22, up 68 cents. Trying to hold the $28 market, trying to move along. A Foot Locker sitting up 38 bucks, only up 28 cents. Make it 26 cents right now on Foot Locker. That's where we are over there. GameStop, 28.13 now. Watching this market jump about back and forth, 28.25, 28.13. All kinds of fun. The Dow up 193 right now. Interest rate decision coming still 4 hours away, 3 hours, 50 minutes. Now I'm seeing why everyone says you're 4'11". You barely reach the whiteboard. Now I see what you're talking about. You're so tiny. You see, that's where those aluminum extensions come in. You know those guys that do they plaster your ceilings at the office or at your house? They wear those aluminum extensions. You see, that's why I'm 4'11", but with those extensions, I'm over 6 feet tall. You see, I wear them well. And I fool everybody every time. They all think I'm over around 6 feet tall. And you know the truth, dude. You know the truth, how tall I really am. I'm just a little guy. Look how tiny I am. I'm just a little guy. I'm just tiny. I'm just so tiny. No, I have not been drinking. No, the answer is no. I have not been drinking. I'm sober as the day is long. There you go. But the days are getting shorter. Let me tell you that. Oh man, unbelievable! Welcome all to the silliness, the craziness, the fun times, and the opportunity to make money in a bear market. It is being handed to you on a silver platter all over the place, kids. Take advantage of these deals. HBQ up 20 cents. We've got Matterport up 1.5 cents. What else is going on here? Tesla down 93. Pfizer up 14. Boeing up 75 cents. Cisco up 24. Twitter up a nickel. Home Depot up 5.66. My goodness. Vanik up $3. IBM up 119. Microsoft up 194. Goldman up 138. Google up 20. Amazon down 18. Yeah, Meta Platforms down 188. Royal Caribbean down 324 today, getting hit. Royal Caribbean is backing off here. Interesting stuff. Let's see, what are they saying over here? Carnival's off 61 cents to 9.81. What about Norwegian? Norwegian is down 67 cents now to 14.52. Norwegian is backing off. They were upgraded yesterday by one of these brokerage firms. Out of their minds. Out of their minds. They must be backers of their bonds, because I expect the cruise lines to come back to the market to try to raise more money. But those junk bonds are getting real expensive to issue, I think. But, we'll see what happens. My goodness. U.S. existing home sales fall for the 7th straight month in August. That is the headline coming across. Unbelievable. Gig workers, here's a headline. Gig workers are worried about running out of money in retirement. Here's how to take the initiative. Yes, watch Uncle Bruce's channel, take his classes, learn how to write call options against stock you either already own or stocks you're going to get or deep in the money contracts you're going to buy, and learn how to write poor man covered calls and retire comfortably and keep making even more money as each month and quarter goes by. That's the answer to the headline questions about gig workers. Don't become a gig worker, become an option writer as a full-time profession. Slowly but surely it can be done. Take control of your life and don't be dominated by a boss somewhere that hates you, that really doesn't care about you. They care about their personal bonus. You're expendable. You don't want to be expendable. You want to be irreplaceable. You want to be the number one person in your life. You want to be in total and complete control of your future. Take it. It's available if you want it. You gotta want it, man. You gotta want it. Anyway, we're up 183 on the Dow Jones. I'll tell you, back in 1970. What year was this, Bruce? Oh, it was 1970. Could have been 69, 70, 71. I met someone that changed my life. I've met a lot of people that have changed my life. I mean, I've been very lucky. But a person that changed my perspective, I met when I was a teenager, and it was a very fortunate thing. This was in Waterloo, Ontario, way back in the Twin Cities of Kitchener, Waterloo, Ontario. We used to live there, and just down the street, just around the corner, down a few houses down the street, a family moved in. A new family moved into a house, and it was mom and dad and two kids. No, three kids, matter of fact. One guy and two sisters. The oldest in the house was the sister, the oldest child. Then there was the son, who was the second oldest, and then the daughter, who was the youngest. And I was 15. The son was 14, 15, and the eldest daughter was 16. The other daughter was 10. And then mom and dad. And my buddy, another buddy of mine in the neighborhood, met these folks. He was the first to say hi to these new people moving in. And he got talking to the young guy, found out that he was in the same grade that we were in, but he was going to go to a different school than we were going to go to. They hit it off. And my buddy said, "You got to meet this guy. You're going to like this guy." And so I got to meet this gentleman, and he and we hit it off. We hit it off better than my buddy hit it off. We became really good friends. And I got to meet his mother and father one night. And his father was a university professor. They were from a family from Virginia, American family that moved up to Canada. The father had taken, I think, a two-year contract at the University of Waterloo to be an instructor there. And I believe he was an instructor in economics. Had something to do with business. I'd never met someone like this before. First of all, this is an American family, which is really cool for all of us, because we're all Canadians, and here are these Americans, and they talk different, and they think different, and they look at life differently. All these little things, they're the same, but they're different. And this is at age 15, 16. And then I met this gentleman, and I liked him right away. I just liked him right away. I think he liked me right away because he recognized the relationship I had with my father and my mom, and that my dad was an entrepreneur with his own business. My mother had her own store. So my dad had a retail store, my mother had a retail store, and I was brought up in that environment. So he understood that I understood some economics was different than all the other 15-year-olds that his son would hang around with. His son had no concept about what I was dealing with my helping up my father. And this gentleman changed my life because he said to me that he tells his kids all the time, you can be whatever you want to be whenever you want to be it. And you don't ever have to fall into a slot and be locked into something. I'd never heard that before. My father told it to me in his unique way. But I noticed that, well, you're a retailer and mom's a retailer, and I'm helping you as a retailer, and I'm really not getting the outside experience, but I'm 15. It's all right. I got plenty of time. But my dad did eventually say to me, you can do whatever you want with your life. I'm not looking for you to take over the store. That's not, you want it. You want the store. I'll help you get the store. But if it's not for you, I get it. But this gentleman was talking in a whole other level about just getting out there and doing whatever you want to be out there. And I was blown away by this guy. I knew him for how long ago? How long was it? I was about 35, 36. Yeah, I was about 35, 36, and that's when he passed away. So I got to know him for about 20 years, 18 to 20 years. Now, we weren't close, but for the first few years, I knew him in my teenage years. And then I got to know him a little more when I was in my late 20s and 30s. And he told me stories. Oh my God, did he tell me stories that were just incredible. And I would just be impressed every time I got to meet him. It was just more and more impressive to get to know this guy. And his son became a very interesting young fellow. I was blown away by what he was doing at age 15, 16, 17 because of his father's encouragement. And one of the stories that I loved, one of the things his kid did was it was summer holiday coming up the next year. And summer holiday time, I would usually work for my dad or something like that. And this kid, instead of getting a summertime job, he made his own summertime job, which I had never seen done before by a 15 or 16-year-old. And what he figured out was that the city that I was living in, Waterloo, Ontario, the city council knew that all the kids were out of school during the summer. Of course, all the kids all over the North America were out for summer holidays. And the city of Waterloo wanted to have events and activities for children in various parts of the city, and mainly in the main city, the park, the big park that the city owned. They wanted to have events there. They wanted moms to bring the kids for the day and come picnic, enjoy the swings and the slides, and they would offer entertainment to the children. And this fellow that I got to know, he figured out that he could offer entertainment to the children. And what happened was, during school, during the year, just before graduation, he was in the school play. And the school play was all about Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and all these characters. And during the school year, they made up all these costumes, the Winnie the Pooh costumes and all the other costumes. And he figured out that there was, there were all these stories about Winnie the Pooh, and he decided to write some kind of a feel-good story about, I don't know, life itself, using these caricatures. And what he did was, this is brilliant. The school was going to throw away the costumes. They were just going to throw them away because the school year is over and there was no use for the costumes anymore. So he asked if he could have them. They said, yeah, sure, take them, get them out of here. We don't need them anymore. We're going to do another play next year. He got all the costumes from the play, the school play. He must have had 8 or 10 of them. And what he did was he started writing a script he made his own little screenplay utilizing these characters. Now this is the 70s. And in today's world, we're talking royalties and all kinds of legals about, copyright infringement and all that. But way back then, it was so loosey-goosey and there was no internet. And would Disney ever know that this character was being used? And I don't know if even Winnie the Pooh was a Disney character yet at that point. That might have come later. I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't matter to the story. So what does this guy do? This guy checks with City Hall and finds out that the city of Waterloo in the spring is looking for proposals for entertainment, for children's entertainment ideas. And he finds out from investigating this and talking to people at City Hall that the city has a stage at the park. There's a stage at the park that has a roof over it. It's like a little amphitheater, and the kids sit on the lawn and they watch these performances of whatever, a music group or someone reading poetry or a choir singing or whatever. And he figures out, I could do a stage production on that stage with the kids from school that were in the play. We could put on these costumes and we could do a little play to these children, and then we could mingle in and amongst the kids and say hi to them and give them hugs and stuff. Because the reaction at the school was fantastic. So he negotiates a contract. The city is offering a set amount of money for so many performances, maybe 1 or 2 a day for like a week. And this guy because he's the owner of this whole thing. He owns the contract. He owns the costumes. He's contacting the kids individually. Would you like to be in a play wearing those costumes you were wearing before? We'll do this in front of children in the park. We'll do 2 shows a day for a week. And he got enough money that he could pay these performers, I think $20 a day. Each one of them got $20 for these 2 shows. Took them like 4 hours. And they were just hanging out in the meantime, having a good old time. But he took the profits. He made himself $100 a day for the week. He made like $700. This is 1971. And as I know, his father explained to him how he could do this, and all you got to do is pay these kids a wage, so much money in cash for coming out. They're not going to make enough money to declare it on income tax. I mean, they're not going to make that kind of money. They're each going to make $100 for the week or $150 for the week. Whoop-de-doo. That's their entire summer income. It's not even reportable. Perfect. You can make yourself a nice little buck here. And that's what he did to start with. But then he got smarter. He went to the local shopping mall, and he talked to the promotions director of the shopping mall in the city of Waterloo with 100 stores in the mall. And he said to the shopping mall promoter, the promotions director, how would you like to have us do a show on Saturdays? We'll do a show every Saturday for you in your main area of the mall, middle of the mall. And then we'll walk up and down the hallways on weekends and hug the kids and give away candies and stuff like that in costume. Well, the mall promoter thought that the promotion director thought this was a great idea. So he says, come on down to the park. We're doing 2 shows tomorrow. Come on down to the park and check it out. And that's what the mall promotions director did. They came and took a look at this presentation on city property to all these mothers and children in the audience. Huge hit, huge award fuzzies. They hired him, and with his group, he said, I got 10 kids and we got the costumes and we'll do it this way, do that. And they worked out a deal. He did a 2-week arrangement with this mall. Then he did a 2-week arrangement with another mall in Kitchener, the Twin City. And he was making himself $1,000 a week net in his pocket. And it's all because of his father. I mean, his father said, these businesses, they got this, they have these budgets. And they spend money on radio advertising. They spend money on newspaper advertising. They do their own newsletters. They do all these promotions. They need families to come to the mall. If families come to the mall, they spend money at the mall. And when mom brings the kids into the mall in August, guess what mom is buying for the children in August? School clothing for September. Well, hello, back to school shopping. Get the kids to come in and say hi to Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and all the other characters. And then let's go shopping in Sears and Kmart and whatever, and pick up stuff for summer, for school. Genius, absolute genius. I was so impressed by what this guy was doing. And he was Winnie the Pooh. He was the star of the show. Absolute genius. I thought, this kid's 16, 17 years old. What is his future going to be like? Talk about exciting. He wasn't going to be in a cubicle somewhere. No. Not going to be in a cubicle at all. I love that, just that little episode of what he was doing. And this is 1970, 71, 72. Way back, what's that, 60 years ago? 50 years ago. 50 years ago, he was doing this. And I just love that. It just brings back such warm memories. And I remember talking to his father off and on for years after I would talk to him. And I would just be blown away by the ideas that he would come up with. And here's a guy who's a thinker. He's a professor. He was a professor, and he was inspiring kids in economics classes about taking control of your destiny and taking control of the environment that you're in and make it work for you. And I thought, my God, good God, I don't hear people talk like this. My father was very entrepreneurial, and he knew entrepreneurs because he was selling musical instruments to musical store owners. So he was surrounded by retailers all the time. In that world, I had exposure. But in this other world, the promotion world, the advertising world, the entertainment side of things, and this isn't making a movie in Hollywood. This isn't moving to Hollywood to make a bunch of money. This is in my little hometown of 50,000 people. The city council of Waterloo is paying these kids X amount of money, and it's a drop in the bucket. And they're getting exactly what they want from those kids. They're employing city children to promote and entertain other cities' children with their mothers and fathers. Brilliant. Absolutely. I mean, politically positive. Oh my gosh. How good was that? This guy, he did a lot of this kind of stuff going for. He did all kinds of neat stuff. This is just the son. Phenomenal. Incredible. Anyway, I love that. I just love that, and passing on that knowledge. Incredible. How are we doing for time? We're got about 5 minutes to go. I'll tell you one more story about this guy, the father. He told me a story one day about how he wanted to write a book, and he was an author as well as a prof. He loved writing little books. He wanted to write a book about, I believe it was about sailing boats. I think he wanted to write a book about becoming an owner of a little boat, and what you need to look out for, and what you need to understand if you're going to buy going to be a sailor, power boat, sailboat, whatever. And he wanted to go to a boat show, one of these big boat shows on the East Coast of the U.S. And to get into this thing was a fortune. Now, again, we're dealing now with mid-70s, 1980s. But to equate it to like today's world, if you want to go to like a 4-day boat show as an attendee, as a person, you got to buy a ticket every day. But you're limited to what you can do when you do go to a boat show. You can stay within the ropes, and you're allowed to go on certain boats or walk around the display. It all depends. Some of the boats are on land, some of them are in the water, and then there, of course, are all the accessories for boating that they have inside these convention centers, and on and on. But he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to have like a 4-day pass to just be able to walk around like everybody else. No. He wanted behind the scene. He wanted backstage passes. He wanted to be able to talk to the boat manufacturers, and he wanted them to take him seriously because he's an author and he's a writer for a book about boating. And he had to figure out a way, how can I get into this show? Because the show's coming up in a couple of weeks. How can I get into this show and be allowed to go everywhere, anytime I want, come and go all I want, rather than just a ticket one time in only, and then you leave. And how can he get information from these companies, all these boating companies and all these accessory guys, where they want to give him information rather than he has to beg for handouts and brochures and stuff. And he didn't want to be approached by salesmen trying to sell him a boat. That's what the public was going to get. He didn't want that. What to do? And he said to me, well, it was easy. It was easy for me to pull this off. He says, I contacted the organizer of the boat show, which was easily done through the convention center. And I found out that they had media passes available. So if you're with Boating Magazine or Lifestyle Magazine or whatever, you could get a media pass, and you would be allowed in the 3 days before the show even started, as everybody was setting up their booths. And you could talk to people behind the scenes. You had carte blanche. You can go anywhere you want in the entire facility with the media pass, because you have a deadline to write an article. And realistically, let's think about this. If the show is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and holiday Monday, the article that you're going to write about the boat show should be out before the weekend, so that people who read the article will come to the boat show. I mean, it's a promotional thing. So really, media people have to get there before the Friday, or at least the latest day they're there is Friday. For publishing Saturday, in the Sunday paper or in the insert magazine or what have you. Well, this guy, he contacts the organizer of the convention and says, I'm an author. I'm writing a book. I need a media pass. Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. What's your book going to be about? What to do to buy your own boat, what you need to do, what you need to know to buy your own boat. We're going to talk about everything from insurance to accessories to different kinds of boats, power boats, sailboats, trailers, on and go. Oh my God, you got to come to this. You got to come to this. We'll get you a media pass and you can show up on Wednesday. You can show up on Wednesday. The show starts on Friday afternoon. And if you need any introductions, we'll introduce you to the big boys around here and you will get royal treatment. Well, he shows up he gets the pass on the Tuesday. I just said, come on down to the convention center. We have a booth set up for media passes. He gets his media pass and he starts attending this thing. And he said, I'm behind the scenes for days before the thing even opens up. And when it does open up, I'm taking pictures of this incredible facility, this incredible image of thousands of people and hundreds of displays, the colors and the balloons and the sailboats, and it's incredible. And I'm just absorbing all this information for my book. And I thought to myself, boy, that is a smart move. And fast forward, I'm in the publishing business for the golf business. I'm producing yardage guides in 1986, 87, 88 with my buddy. We're producing yardage guides for golf resorts. And wouldn't you know it, the PGA of America has 2 national golf shows, one in Orange County, the National Golf Show, and one in Long Beach, California, the West Coast Golf Show. The West Coast is in September, and the National is in February every year at that time. And I said to my buddy, we got to get down to the National Golf Show. We have to get into the National Golf Show. He says, how the hell are we going to get in there? We're not PGA professionals. We're not golfers. We're not with a golf course. We're not employees of any resort. How the hell are we going to get in? I said, we're going to get in on a media pass. He said, what are you talking about, media pass? How the hell are we going to get a media pass? I said, watch this. I picked up the telephone and I called the convention people for the PGA National Convention and told them I'm with the company. And our publishing name was Profile Publishing at the time. We produce yardage guides for golf courses around the world, around America. We need a media pass for 2 people. We have to talk to all the publishers. We have to talk to all of the people that are there displaying their golf wares, because we publish a magazine along with our yardage guide, and we're looking for advertisers as well. They go, oh yeah, you want to be down here. There's all kinds of schmoozing going out. We had the media pass sent to us by mail, all the documentation. We filled it all in, sent it to them, and they mailed us the media passes. We had them in our hands in Canada before we crossed the U.S. border by flying down there. And when we got down to the National Golf Show, we had the lanyard on with our media, and it said media on it. And we had carte blanche to come and go all we wanted, including we could go into the media room where they had free coffee, free sodas, free sandwiches, and couches to sit down in and rest a while, because we're just walking and walking and walking. We were there for the 4-day National Golf Show, no admission cost, closed to the public, completely closed to the public, only for PGA professionals and industry people. And that's how I got into that. The media pass. I'll tell you, this guy, this professor, just changed everything. Sometimes you meet people, you have no idea that the next person you're going to meet from some fluke situation could change your life. And you have to be open to that. So welcome, option writers, to the change in your life. You're writing options now, and you're making a difference in your world, for your family, for yourselves. I love it. Congratulations, all of you, how this is working. I'm excited for you. You're going to make money. We got to get going here. Thank you all. True Word says, who cares? Let's see. DQ says, I have 100 AMC ape. The AMCs paid for themselves with covered calls before the premiums went to crap. Let's see here. And let's go. Who cares? Says, I'm going to take the hit and sell Ape and then buy a Cisco option to try pour my cover call on that. Tiff says to who cares, because AMC holders stopped watching Uncle Bruce after he told them what they did not want to hear about how bad AMC was going to be. Now covered calls are a different story. Let's see. My GameStop has paid for itself through swing trading and now covered calls. Let's see here. What else is going on? Your folks are talking to each other about AMC and writing calls and doing all this. Multipass, big bada boom right there. Living the dream, says dude. Uncle Bruce teaching life lessons this morning. Thank you, sir. Like I said, you never know when the next opportunity and the next most influential person in your life might show up. You just do not know. It can happen at any time, anywhere, and you just have to sometimes recognize it. And sometimes advice someone gives you today will not work for you for 5 or 10 years, and then you go, I remember so-and-so told me something about that, and that could be relevant right now. We pull this out of our Rolodexes like you cannot believe. We bring it back out. It's amazing. Yep, I still remember life lessons learned from many, many people in my life, and one never knows. Anyway, folks, thank you all for being here. If you see your mother and your father this weekend, give them an extra long hug, because you never know the next time you might not be able to do that anymore. So don't forget how fortunate we are to be here, and how fortunate we have been through our lives of some of the most phenomenal motivators we've ever met. Thank you all so much. Guys, thank you. JG, for me, that happened when GameStop, mother of all short squeezes craze, and I found out this amazing channel going to be here for a while, says JG. Thank you all so much for being with me today. I'll see you this afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern time for the final hour trading today. We'll keep an eye on these markets. Wait for the announcement coming up here, I guess 2 Eastern, noon my time. I'll be on the air just after all that comes out, and we'll see what happens with these markets, with interest rates being reported later today. Don't forget tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time, all of you guys, Gold Bagel members, the show for you and only for you, prime time with Uncle Bruce, 8 o'clock Eastern time for Gold Bagel members. Join me for that, and we'll talk about today's trading day and what's been going on with interest rates and what could happen tomorrow and how you guys are going to get richer. Constantine, have a great day, everybody. Get some rest, Uncle B. Thank you all for hanging around, and nice to see you all. We'll see you this afternoon at 3. Go, baby, go. See you later.